In this video, we're going to talk about the equations of circles. So in this first little box, it asks for the equation of a circle centered at the origin. So I'm going to use this image here. Now notice if I have a circle, and the definition of a circle is made up of all the points equidistant from a center point. So here that center point is the origin. So if I wanted to pick a point on this circle, say x, y, I'm going over x distance and up a y distance. So using this, we are going, and also notice here, when I drop aside from this point to the x-axis, it forms a 90-degree angle. So I can develop the equation of a circle using Pythagorean theorem. So what I would say is x squared plus y squared equals r squared, which is my hypotenuse here. So notice x squared plus y squared equals the radius squared is the equation of my circle. So if I wanted to transform that circle, say I wanted to move it a distance left or right, and in this example it says an equation of a circle centered at the point HK, so a positive H, positive K. How I would do this is I would say x minus H squared plus y minus K squared equals r squared. So in a lot of our function transformations, we are used to seeing x minus a certain transformation, but we're normally, when we're talking about a y transformation, talking about a plus a number. Notice here, in this situation, y minus k gives me a transformation of a positive k units. So if I have y minus k, I'm going to be moving to the right, and if I have y plus k, I'm going to be moving to the left. So this is what we call the standard form of an equation for a circle. And so we can use that if given a center point that's not the origin and a radius. So looking at number 1, where it says write an equation of a circle with radius 8 and center 4, 3. So 4 goes with my x, so I'll be moving my circle to the right 4, so minus 4 squared, plus y. The y value is 3, so I'm going to be moving up 3, minus 3, or you can think of h and k as your x and y for the center, squared, equals the radius squared. Or you could rewrite 8 squared as 64. Now notice when I have a radius of 7 and a center at -3 and -8, instead of minus my x value of the center, it's minus a negative, making it x plus 3 squared plus y plus 8, because minus a -8 is a positive 8 squared, equals 7 squared. Well, now if I'm given an equation of a circle, I should be able to find the center and radius. So from this, I know that a positive 1 is my x value for my center, and a -4 is the y value of my center, with a radius at 9, because the square root of 81 gives me 9. 9 squared is 81. So looking at example 4, I have -2 and +3, so I know that the x is a positive 2, the y is a -3, and taking the square root of 9, I know that the radius of my circle is 3. So in number 5, it says expand the binomial expression in number 4, simplify and set the equation equal to 0. So let's use 4 to FOIL. And so by expand, it just means that we're going to FOIL this expression. And so I get x squared minus 4x plus 4 plus y squared plus 6y plus 9. Notice I skipped a step in combining like terms. So you might have an in-between step here where you actually show all the parts of foiling and then where you combine to get the -4 and 6y equals 9. And then it says set the equation equal to 0. And so by doing that, I'm going to subtract 9 on both sides, which cancel out these 9s. And I'm just going to group x's together, y's together, and then the constants, which here is left to be 4, equal to 0. This is called the general or expanded form of the equation of a circle. So the way we would write that is x squared plus y squared plus ax plus by plus c equals 0. Very similar to what we've seen as a quadratic. Just we have y squareds and y on one side of the equation with the x's. So now let's look at an example of given an equation, being able to put it into standard form. So given x squared minus 8x plus y squared plus 11 equals 0, I have to complete the square, but I have to complete the square twice, once for the x's and one for the y's. So the first step here is to group x's and y's together, which we have, and then to complete the square. And so I like to leave a gap for where I will complete the square. And what I'm going to do here is take this b term with the x, -8 divided by 2. I'm then going to square that term, which -4 squared gives me a positive 16, which tells me I'm going to add 16 over to my x group. Well, if I add to one side, we know from completing the square I have to add to another. Now, in this situation, I do not have a b term with the y, so I'm not going to have to complete the square with the y's. And so from here, I'll be able to simplify and get x minus 4 squared plus y squared is equal to, and I'm going to subtract the 11 on both sides so that I get -5. And notice it says put in standard form, so I would have just x's and y's over on the left-hand side and then the radius squared on the right-hand side. So let's look at another example of this. I have x squared plus y squared plus 4x minus 6y equals -4. So the first step here is I'm going to write the equation in a grouped form with x's and y's. And then I'm going to take the b value of my x, divide it in 2, and then square it, which gives me 4. So I'm going to add 4 over to the x's, which means I have to add 4 on the right-hand side. Now I'm going to take -6 and divide it by 2 to get -3. Square -3 to give me a positive 9, which means I'm going to add 9 to the y's, but also add 9 to the right-hand side. And then I can simplify. X squared plus 4x plus 4 simplifies down to x plus 2 squared. And y squared minus 6y plus 9 simplifies down to y minus 3 squared. And then simplify the right-hand side. -4 plus 4 is 0 and gives me 9. Which shows that I have a circle whose center is at -2, positive 3, and a radius of 3. And I got that all from my standard form, which I got from completing the square. Now, let's do the last one. Now, the issue here is I first need to get, once again, group x and y's together. So I have 3x squared. I'm going to add 3y squared to both sides, and then add 6y to both sides as well, and leave 9 over on the right-hand side. So then from here, before I can complete the square, we have to remember that the a coefficient, or the coefficient in front of your x squareds or y squareds, has to be 1 in order to complete the square. So in order to do that, I'm going to multiply both sides by 1/3 to get rid of these two 3's in front of the x squared, y squared terms, which would then simplify down to, because 3 times 1/3 is x, 3 times 1/3 would be y squared, and then 6 times 1/3 gives me a 2y. 1/3 times 9 gives me 3. And then from here I can continue completing the square. Notice I have just the x squared term, so x squared remains. I'm going to take 2 from the 2y here, divide it by 2, square that, and then add it to the y's, which when I add to the left I also have to add to the right, which then I can simplify down to y plus 1 squared is equal to 4, which also then tells me that I have a center of the circle at 0, -1, with a radius of 2. Thanks for watching.